evening, goeienaand, molweni.
Goeienaand meneer, hoe gaan dit?
Ek kan nie kla nie.
How are you, Mzez?
I'm good, man. Thanks. How are you?
No, I'm well, man. But I was just, I
Yeah,
wanted to complain about the time just Carla, huh?
yeah.
Yeah,
Ladies, it's family time, ne?
yeah, but it's fine. I will write an email to complain appropriately.
Nami ngizocomplaina kwi-HR on my side. This is not,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
work-life balance things, they say.
yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, how
Mm.
are you? I've got my drink here, so I don't know about you. I'm just having soup in a cup.
Yeah, now I'm having some water here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's important to keep hydrated, huh?
Hey, but this
Hmm.
things that we get ourselves into, let's say we're fit and healthy and all of that good stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, thank you for honoring my invitation. I think it's been kind of a long time coming, even before I thought of the idea of having this platform. Because of the stuff that I've seen you share with social media, and some of us is tend to joke, and then we come across Kumkani who are like getting you to think about these serious, complex things. Um, but no, thanks for giving us your time, and thanks to Mama Wekaya and the princess there in the background. I can see them on the wall. So
I, I, I had I had to bring them. I'm captured. You know?
yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, thank you. And ungixolisele nami ngizofaka i-complaint kwi-HR. We need to look at another time. But anyway, also thanks to the people that have joined us. I always kind of make a joke, Uguti. I don't know what normally plays, at this time of the night
Oh
on
yeah.
TV, on Showmax or whatever that people use. So I don't take it for granted, when people give us their time and they just drop by, check out what are we talking about and all of that. So by way of introduction, Ubani Kumkani, I'm always in my mind, my Kumkani, I'm always like uh, also translating it to kingdom. You're the second Kumkani that I've met in my life. But anyway, tell us who Kumkani is, where you hail from, and then we'll just take it from there.
All right. I was born in Matatiele. That small town between KZN and the Eastern Cape. My most notable homeboys, Abo MT, Abo Andile Jali. So
Mm,
yeah, I was born there, but we moved from that place when I was around 9 years old. So I grew up for like during my primary school and high school years. I grew up in Klerksdorp,
yeah,
and then post matric, I then went to become a man, basically eval.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then now I'm in Cape Town. So I don't have one place where I can say I'm from.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm from South Africa. Who knows? Maybe next month I could be in Pumalanga. Yeah. Um, but then
Yeah,
I'm just a regular guy nje, or wasemzansi, who just happened to have read a lot growing up.
yeah,
I've got a lot of love for learning, so I read a lot. Even when I was in high school, mind you, I was not reading the textbooks. I would go to the library and read things that have got nothing to do with schoolwork, from an
yeah,
early age on. So I'm somebody who really likes knowledge and sharing as well.
yes,
Yeah, I think in the nutshell, that's who Kumkani is. Unless we go to
yeah.
the family stuff, yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
The family tree.
It's
Yeah.
not necessary.
So, so tell me, what kind of stuff did you like to read, outside of the schoolwork and all that?
Jeez. I read a lot, but
Mm.
mostly I was fascinated by history, you know, and then
Mm.
yeah, because at school I was doing history as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was fascinated by history, and then from there I started to remember history. You are dealing with people, yeah, and then from
Yeah.
there would be certain individuals that would grab my attention. Then I would
Sure.
move to biographies and that sort of thing, which is what I still do even now. You know, I've always just
Yeah.
kept to to that kind of stuff.
Mm. Mm. That's
Yeah.
quite interesting. I also enjoyed history, in high school, and
Oh,
I
okay.
think
Cool.
recently, recently, not recently as in like during the COVID years, but just
Mhm.
maybe I would say 3, 4, maybe 5 years.
Mhm.
I also came across a guy who writes, Robert Greene. I've never read all of his books, but there's one I read, 33 Strategies of War. Um,
Uh-huh.
the way he writes it, it sort of gives you insight into the thinking Yelama character. So when he talks about Napoleon Bonaparte, you kind of
Mhm.
get the
Yeah.
psyche,
Yeah. Yeah.
not just the factual stuff that he did, but Uguti, he was coming from a certain background, began a complex. Uguti, he's not blue blood by birth, so he's in those circles, but he kind of doesn't feel like he belongs, and that also influences his behavior, like more like behavioral stuff. Uguti,
Yeah.
I really believe Uguti, we are the sum total my experiences way to background here to family and those types of things. That's really
Absolutely.
interesting, but yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So it sounds like pretty much, you're a curious cat, which explains the path that you have taken in your life.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into as we have this conversation. I want to take you back to a post you once shared. I don't know if it was a Kumbula, ne? I didn't prepare you for this one. So there's a post you once shared about how people, and I think for me, this is one of the posts that really like grabbed my attention. With I'm always fascinated when someone unpacks either something I've never thought about or I'm not clued up about or whatever the situation. And it was about how people price ukudla. Like I think in your case you used the makota as an example.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
remember the post that I'm talking about?
Um, which one? The one that became controversial. I want to bang through I think is that one, right?
Hmm. I think
Where,
you were saying,
huh?
yeah, you were saying about the underprice it. So Ekasi, you buy a quota for like 25 rands,
Yeah.
and you went deep into why they are short changing themselves, and they can easily price it. I think you went into the hundreds or something. I don't remember the amount.
Yeah. 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 It was above 80.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
So it made me curious. So in terms of I don't know how to frame the question, but I suppose I'm trying to get into your mind. I
Okay.
forgot the disclaimer ukuthi ngiphethwe i-chairperson ngabe.
Oh, all right. All right.
So it is, yeah,
Ucele ukuthi asinikeze maybe about half an hour nje.
yeah. No, so my boy phela, hey, I just put him to bed before the interview, but manje he's trying his luck while I'm busy. So
Oh, all
take
right.
me to that thinking, daughter, and maybe what informs, and you can touch on your journey that led to you having that kind of expertise. Yeah. Well, interestingly, I had a friend, have a friend who sells chili
Yeah.
in a jar. I think like a nice small anyana bottle. The guy priced at 50 rands, and then one time she was like, "No, I'm gonna increase it to 70 rands." And my question to her was that what informs your pricing?
Yeah.
Is it guessworking and how I feel today or whatever? But I understand that there's magic to the formula, which maybe you can hit us ngamakaba and that kind of stuff. Then we can get
Oh,
go
all
deeper.
right. Yeah, without spending too much time on that, right? Look, I spent quite some time in the restaurant space. I've been involved in that space for quite some time as well. You know?
Yeah.
Now, what I learned, okay, with everything that I do, I firstly begin by doing a lot of research. I go
Mm.
through reading different materials, anything I can lay my hands on.
Mm.
Through the research, and one thing that I think my experience in business in general has equipped me with is my ability to build systems in my head first, and
Yeah.
then run those systems practically. Let's say if we wanted to build a factory, I can build the whole factory and build all the elements within that factory and have it run in my mind. It can run for 3-4 months consistently.
Mm.
I'm doing the same thing. By the
Mm.
time it goes into practice, I've already all the things, most of the things that would have failed early on, have already failed and been fixed. All of that in my
Oh,
mind now. One thing that I picked up in the restaurant space, as far as about the small guys and the guys, I picked on Ikota specifically on that post because it's the most common. Every time somebody wants to open Ndawo Yokuda, they jump to Ikota.
yeah.
And one thing that they all seem to be doing incorrect is that just because you are going into it, you find batting quarter for 20 rand. Now you just jump in and say 20 rand, without looking at uh, pricing. Because before we price, like, so you must firstly understand your costing, food
Mm.
costing, and all other costs that your business will incur in
Mm.
your in your purpose of putting together this product.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I picked on equator because I put it through my system, and I realized, Guti, well, I was trying to help a couple of people as well. There were a lot of people that were hitting me up on the inbox. There's a small spreadsheet uh, formula I developed, and I shared it with a lot of guys, but a
Mm.
lot of them still had a problem using it, and it's very basic. Now, whenever I would go through it with somebody, like over the phone, and then we put their costs, they would realize that on some of the items that they are selling, they are actually making 30 cents, 70 cents, and it's a shock. So it becomes a shock, and somehow something, maybe there's something wrong with this thing of mine, because like something as simple as a plastic,
Mm.
we cost, if
Mm.
you pay for it, and you use it to package your product, it's part of the cost.
Okay.
So it's one industry that I'm actually very passionate about, but mostly from the brand development space or angle.
Yes.
Um, so that came about from that.
Mm.
Um, yeah, just really trying to share and trying to educate and trying to make people aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that post, I think it was shared over 30,000 times, and in other places, I think you're talking about the one where I took Pizzo's Gota, right? And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I did another one with I think it was with KFC. Um, that thing, it was hot there in the comments, But I then realized the people who are complaining here are the people who want to pay $12. It's the customers that are complaining, which is why I made
Oh,
that.
I see.
Yeah. I made that example to say, you'll be selling these quarters for a good 10 years, and you can't even buy yourself a Polo Vivo. So
Sure.
what? Yeah. What kind of business is that?
Yeah.
Maybe my tone as well as Abanye Ngabajela is like they're running a feeding schemes. Because I mean, how do you, out of like $14
Yeah.
and you've got like 85 cents? So how many Lama $14 are you supposed to sell in a month to be able to afford a decent living? So
Mm.
that's where that came from.
Yeah, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, isasende le ndlela. As they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna take you back, Ngane. I think while we were engaging, leading to tonight,
Yeah.
you mentioned something about your mom and her being a superwoman. I think it's worth a mention, and for you to tell us about, because from that I could pick up what she's played, a very key role in life here. Yeah.
Yeah. She raised 4 kids as a single mother, and the most amazing thing is that with all of us, she's always supported whatever we wanted to do. It's
Mm,
she just supports. You want to do this, she goes with you. You want to do this, and not just is support of just agreeing to say okay, go ahead and do it.
mm,
Support of actually playing a part. Playing a role. I remember when I even back in high school when I was part of a Kwaito group, I used to do my thing. She
yeah,
paid for the recording sessions and transport to move around, all of those kind of things, and then right throughout many other things I've been doing. She's always just been present.
yeah.
So
That's
yeah, she
yeah.
did extremely well, and I always tell her many times over, just so that she must always remember that she did
Mm,
extremely well. Because
mm,
she was young, and I mean, young, you've got 4 kids,
sure.
and yeah, and she pulled through. So I was raised by a superwoman, you know, which
It
is why I
sounds
brought
like
that up.
she set you up. In other words, I had a conversation with someone maybe about 3 months or so ago,
Yeah.
and that is, as parents, how do we ever, or how often do we deliberately set our children up in such a way that Mara figure at a certain age, right? They have a foundation, they have something to build on top of. So I'll give you an example, right? So it can be in the form of some kind of investments or property or whatever. But the other side of that coin is for us to build ourselves such that in our old age we don't depend on them.
Yeah.
If at all, ibonele bazikithi and be like, yo, I don't know, what does your daughter call you, Tata? Ubiza
Papa.
Papa? Okay, so
Papa.
your
Yeah.
your daughter should be able to come to you and say, Papa, I've got a business idea the same way that your mom has done for you, and you say, here's seed capital, or go and speak to Auntie so and so, because we've built those types of networks that will benefit our children at the same time. I can go on and on, kuleo channel, but Kumkani, please take us through your journey. It sounds uh, like I said earlier, Uguti, you've got that curious cat thing, which sort of tells me, Uguti, chances are the entrepreneurship bug, it beat you quite early in life. While taking us through your journey, maybe give us an idea also in terms of what do you think played a role in your life. Uguti, this is the journey, the path. I mean, that you take in life, as opposed to, and there's nothing wrong with that. Having a safe, because I say a safe job these days, but an 8 to 5 standard, predictable, etc.
Yeah. How should we do it? Should we break it into segments, or can I just go on? Or which part do you want me to? Because it can be very long if I have to make the whole presentation.
The
Yeah.
floor is yours. The floor is yours. Yeah,
All right. So towards the angle of my journey into entrepreneurship, right?
yeah,
Oh, okay. All right. Um. Oh, look, my father was in business. Back in the days, he always had, he was a hustler and he was in business. Whenever the business would tank, he would be out hustling, doing all sorts of things, and sometimes come back, set up a supermarket, run that. But he had habits that would always destroy whatever he builds, and then
Hey,
he'd go, yeah, and then he'd go hustle again. Yeah, so from an early age, I was exposed to that, and then uh, in school, when I was young, when you're young, you basically you listen better, because it's not yet time for you to express your own opinions and stuff. So growing up, I was doing very well in school. I was a brilliant student. You remember Dalamos? There used to be like in class. There's always that number one, number. Was it a top 10 or a top 5?
I think top 5. Normally they would do like a top 3 and then top 10.
Oh yes. So
Yeah.
I was always number one. I actually remember one time when we moved to Klerksdorp. I think it was standard 2, and we arrived in April. June, June, I was number 2. It was obvious go December who's number 1. So I've always said, yeah. Now, in high school, I think it was around grade 10 where I had decided what I wanted to do in life, and I found school like what we were being taught. For me, it was just like boring, because I couldn't see how these things would be applied into the kind of life that I want to have, and that's the life that I didn't see it in my environment, but it was a life that I would read about when I read. You'd see such things on TV. I was heavily influenced by hip hop. So, you go through the source mag there, you see how people are living in other parts of the world, So from that exposure, it made me want a different life for myself. So I started in high school, actually. I used to take pictures in high school. I think I forgot to tell you that part. I used to take pictures, lasers at 5 rand with those film cameras.
Humble petty camera started.
No, in school, I was shooting a scale and only, and then my film, I go to town, have it developed, and then come back and collect my 5 rand army. So I started that far back, Yeah. But what I wanted to do back then, I wanted to go into the music business. I wanted to start a record label, basically, because I was always involved with music and stuff back then. And then comes matric. Even before we finish exams and stuff, I already know the situation at home that in fact varsity is not happening here, So I start making my own plans there and then. So by the time I finished, the day I wrote my last exam, the following day I left to come and join my older brother to go and join my older brother in Vereeniging. He had he had an internet cafe, public phones, less than 90 cents, type of a setup, Yeah. So I came over there, and mind you, from school, no, there were no computers, no bengenekas, so there was no computer subject or even exposure to any sort of like technology, So I had to learn everything, mabeng figure, right? And I was working there. This is what 2006. Yeah, so I was working there 7 days a week, from 9 to 9 for no pay, zero pay. Yeah. Not even half tiger, nothing. But being a young person who has always had like this desire for knowledge, so I spent my time there like learning a lot. I was watching YouTube videos, tutorials back in the day, social media. I think by the time when I joined Facebook, there were about 80 something thousand South Africans on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when I created my first account. So through that, I sort of like that creative nature in me sort of like directed the sort of things that I was learning, So I was learning graphic design. I did a bit of web design, and I was running a studio, a makeshift studio at the internet cafe. When we close at 9, I've got people coming to record. I'm taking them a 150 per song, I'm recording because remember, I'm not being paid yet, so I had to make some money, So I was doing that, and I spent a lot of time in that space of entertainment and music, Yeah.
You did quite a group. What was it called? Is it a group release or something at some point?
No. It didn't go that fast. Siphelele kuma-demo and performing nje
Sure.
kasi ama-bash nje. It didn't really go to that level. But
Wow.
what were we call, but we had a smash hit. I think he may be here. Our lead singer, I saw he set a reminder for the thing. He might actually be here. We had
Yeah.
a song called Basjoyla Gabi. That song was a smash, you know. It was a smash. I just don't remember what the name of the group was though. But yeah, you
Yeah.
know, it was one of those things, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Where is the demo?
Jeez. I think somewhere I can find it if I had to really
Yeah.
look for it. Yeah, but I've not come
Mm.
across it. Yeah, I'm sure I can find it somewhere. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That would be a good just must name museum someday. So some kind of a vault or whatever, to say. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if you remember these guys or if you know them, 340 mil.
Oh,
The guys.
yes.
So the three guys from that
Mm-hmm.
band, the Hlala Sonke Ares, Maxi Vasi, ne?
Yeah, yeah.
We used to have a group called Panic, or the same guys actually. There was a Panic,
Mm-hmm.
and up to today, in Petit Demo Tape, it's somewhere at my parents' house. And I
That's
always,
nice.
you know what? I think one day it's stuff that can probably be revisited. Who knows what can be done out of
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
But
absolutely.
IP,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
we need to
Mm-hmm.
appreciate them. Very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. And then your journey into Ubom rap, was that you solo or still with a group of guys?
No, it was me solo. I used to write poetry a lot. So that
Yeah,
poetry, I was really into hip hop, but so that poetry sort of like started to recite it over beats, and then yeah, I continued to write and make beats. At
sure.
some point, I was even producing a house. I was doing all of these sorts of things, man. I was
Yeah,
just fiddling and everything I could possibly press. And
yeah.
to be honest, my house was better than my hip hop in terms of
Wow.
the production. I had a better vibe with house than I did with hip hop.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, but it was just all of those things of you're recording people, you hear a
Sure.
beat, there's a space there, you're like, hey, let me throw in something. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was just those kind of things. It was not really something that I wanted to pursue,
Mm.
um, because I think even if I can just deviate a bit, even you see, for instance, for my graphic design, I never put it out there ever before, you know and
Okay.
many other things that I do, because I've always had this problem of not knowing exactly what it is that I want to be known for. Like when
Yeah.
everything is, when everything is all set, because now I can do so many things, and whichever one that I choose to do, I know I'll succeed in it because I know how to grind. Now,
Sure.
one of my biggest problems was always that now, which one exactly does it then become? And obviously, I would do things to make money, but never put out like my creative work out online because I didn't want to be known for that. So even when I was making music, it was not really something that I wanted to be known for.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
it's only now that I'm older now and I'm feeling like, okay, yeah, let's go. Yeah.
I want to show you something, Kumkani, and maybe you must tell us uh, what was happening here. Just the story behind this. Now, can you see this?
Oh, okay. Those are my boys. Those are my boys. Those are my boys. Yeah, yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, man.
This,
So
this yeah, yeah. This was my third business. We were a production company, doing events. Events was what we specialized in.
sure.
Multicam events, doing video, doing stills, And obviously, there was always that element of branding, which I had carried it over from a previous business that had failed like a year before, So I'd always had clientele from there. So it was one of those services that you still serve, but we're essentially a production company. So that business is the main business that I think I enjoyed the most success. I enjoyed, and in a very short space of time, because we ran 2017, 18, 19, things happen. But for that 2 years, because we hit the ground running, because there was a reputation, there were already clients from the previous business. But even though previously we were not really focused on production, but we still did some projects here and there. So in this one, I then invested in equipment. So we had gear, and we had a team, a very strong team. We did a lot of gigs, private and public. We worked a lot with the government. We're doing a lot of events, man. We do multicam, sometimes set up like 12 cameras, and then and all live streaming. We were also doing live streaming. So that business at its height, I think with it was 12 or 13 permanent staff members.
Wow.
Because what you see in that picture is the production crew, and there's one guy missing, the guy that actually took the picture. He always complains to me, say, I should have been in that picture. And then in the office, I had a couple of people as well, admin, staff, HR, finance, all of those kind of things. So that's the business that I actually enjoyed success in. I ngiyeng ngabona ama-meter,
Yeah. Long ago, and so just tell us about that. You said this was the third business, ne?
Yes.
Yeah. So so because I was asking you to take us through your journey.
No, it's good.
We'll take a few steps back. Good number 1, 2. But I think what I would like, for people to also take away, is obviously the highs and the lows that you've been through. How you picked yourself up from the lows and that kind of stuff, because sometimes it's easy to fall with trap when we see or perceive someone who too successful. It's almost like that's how they woke up that day. Past process or whatever.
Okay, my first business was in advertising. This is when now I was moving away from my 7 days a week, 9 to 9, no pay job. I stumbled upon, actually. I was visiting Klerksdorp, so we went to the doctor. I don't know what we were doing there. So I saw like a small calendar, and on it there were like adverts of different businesses, and firefighters on all of those kind of information, basically, that would go on the one calendar. So I took it. When I came back to the Val, I was like, this thing can work here, because I've never seen anything like this on this site, And I set about it, prepared the proposals, and I then designed, because I'd already learned graphics from the previous year. So I designed it, and I had one shirt. In fact, my shirt, I don't think it was even my shirt. I think I'd taken it somewhere. I don't know, maybe from my younger brother, or it was from my younger brother's matric thing, So it was a pink shirt. So he just wore it once. He said he'd never wear it again. I was like, man, this is cool. It's pink, bro. Pink is in fashion. So I then set about doing door-to-door selling, and my closing rate was very bad at the time. For every 100 businesses I would probably get like 9 to 10 customers. Now you understand, that's 90 people saying no. Others say no as you're walking through the door, holding the thing with the tie there, before you even explain, like, no. So you go outside, you put a smile on your face again, and you go next door. So I did that. I did that for a while, and I'm not really sure how long it took me to fill it up. But as time went on, I started to get momentum. Now I started to have a little bit of a flair. I knew now how to stop them from chasing me out right from the door. I knew how to get them to let me at least sit down. I sold the whole thing fully, and for me at that age, the money I made from that gig, I think I sold that thing in about, could have been 2 months or so. The money I made from that gig, it officially made me the richest person in Lean, because it was all day at one time. I think it was like 40. I think it was like 42 or 43,000. In one time, like one. Here it is. Now I'm rich. So that was the first business. And then I went on to now add other services onto it, printing. Then that was now what then became the second business, which also grew to a point where my older brother worked in a saying Tatela Cop 2 now. He came through to come and join me in that business, and then when he came through with some capital as well, so we were able to expand the business and buy a lot of machines. In fact, at the time, we were the only black-owned printing company that had the capacity to print everything in-house. So we had all the machines, and we pushed that business for many years. We ran that business very well for many years. That was a time, where the economy was not so bad, so we're doing well from private, and then we're doing state as well. It grew until 2014. Which year was it when they elected President Zuma for the first term? Was it 2013 or 14? I think it was 13, right? In fact, I'm supposed to remember it because they hit me, those guys. They injured me. Yeah, I think it was 13, right? And then they gave us a big contract, a huge contract, so big that we didn't have the capacity to fund it on our own. We were doing easily about 500,000 to like 800,000 gross a month. The contract was big, the time frame short. And then we went out to organize funds to deliver this big gig that was going to set us up now on another level, and then we finished, we delivered properly, and then the comrades never paid us. The comrades never paid us, and then now remember, even though we are not paid, we cannot go tell the people that we took money from that. Hey, you must go ask Zuma. We can't tell them that, So we then we ended up running the business experienced a lot of strain because whatever was coming in, it was always going out, coming in, going out. I think we managed to keep it going for a good 2 years, because 2014, 15, 16, for a good 2 years, fighting through, but we managed to pay off debts. At some point, we ended up having to some of the machines and stuff. So we just became like you are back. So we closed that business down in late 2016. And then that's when now I started in 2017. I started the business that you were showing there, my production company. That was 2017.
Sure. So all of those experiences, have you ever gotten to a moment where you were like, hey, no, maybe let me just leave this thing and get a job or whatever?
No, and for two reasons. One, I am not employable. I'm one person that probably I could be brought in to consult, or that type of thing, where I still have like my independence. I'm not employable. I've only had one job, and and I was fired after 3 weeks.
Sure.
Yeah, in fact, I was not fired. I was suspended. So there was a hearing I was supposed to come back to. And then by that time, when they called me, I was already on the streets selling now my other business. They say, hey, it's time for the hearing. I'm like, no, I've got my own business now. Yeah. And I think that experience made it clear to me that I just don't fit within that space, because what I got fired for, or rather suspended for, but I think they were going to fire me because I was going to do it again anyway. It was this thing where I could finish my job, everything for the day before lunchtime. But then again, after lunch, I must come sit here now and just sit waiting for 5. At first I could do it because like internet and everything, but after a while I'm like, no, I just can't sit here. So I would leave. They would warn me the next day, and then I would leave. They would warn me, and then I would leave. Then they suspended me, and then I went back into hustling. So with the struggles, look, one thing is once you, it's almost like marriage. I take business like that. And for me, I'm one person who commits. I don't have commitment issues. I commit, I go in, and once I've decided and I've chosen something, I'm in it. Yeah, even if I lose a leg, I'll still be finding a way to keep going. So with the struggles, I've never ever thought of giving up. I remember I was telling one friend of mine, he was saying, oh yeah, he put it this way, have you ever thought of about throwing in the towel? I was like, man, I didn't even have a towel to throw. You understand? So I couldn't quit. I couldn't quit because we were talking about the time when the one that you showed a picture for my previous business, when it sank very bad there, because when you fall from a small, like 2 steps we ladder, you fall, you get up, it does, it's nothing. But now when you fall, so you figure glama steps la phezulu, when you're about to now get on top of the roof and you fall from there, it hurts the most. Yeah, when it really does, it hurts the most. So he was asking me, saying that because you've got skills, obviously people know people. If you wanted to get a gig, you could get a gig. So I told him that I didn't have a towel to throw in, so I had to get back in the ring. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's quite resilient there. Yeah.
Inkani. It's very important in entrepreneurship. Inkani, yeah. It's I think out of all the other skills, that's the one that everything else can be built on, because every time you fail, Inkani is what will keep you going. Others would say persistence and perseverance, but those are romantic terms. Inkani for me is really what just keeps me going. Yeah.
So tell me, I mean, like, surely, and you've been at this for a long time,
Yeah, 16 years.
Sure, that's a long time. Yeah,
it is.
You've done your 10,000 hours plus.
Yeah.
People, so you're way above, expert levels.
Yeah.
In times, daughter, right? Do you have anything that you do, or a group of people, or whatever it is? Because I can imagine Uguti, yes, unenkani and resilient, push and all that. But some of these things possibly must shy as they are shy, and you have moments where you're like, I'm trying sometimes, or maybe I can.
No, nyakala.
How do you deal with that? And I'm just trying to also, for someone that's watching OT, there's something I noticed, and that really made me to become a little bit more self-aware. Some years ago, there's a lady who DM'd me. I think she asked me to review some documents, very draft, and all of that. And then what give me yeah ngithi yona isilungu sakho sida yabo.
Yeah, yeah,
So I was like, with all the nonsense engikhulumayo sometimes and whatever, but the fact is that people bakubhekile.
yeah.
What I'm trying to extract from you now is that it's a great lo muntu decided to call while I'm on a live stream. Sorry.
Yeah,
uh,
okay.
yeah, but just you know, how do you do your licking of your wounds, if I can put it like that?
Mm, okay. Look, I think for me it's family, you know. Yeah, I've got a very strong support structure, uh immediate and outside of that, you know. Family. So whenever and again, why that works for me is that even during times when the sun is shining, I'm still spending time with family, you know.
Mm,
Yeah, it's always a place that I run to, whether I'm smiling or I'm crying, I'm still going to the same place.
yeah,
Yeah, for me, it's family, and I enjoy solitude, you know. And I know a lot of people would be like, you're not supposed to be alone, especially when you're going through a lot of things. But for me, I enjoy solitude. I enjoy to spend just sit on my own, and you know, I like to go out outdoors, spend time in nature, and you know, that's how
mm,
I sort of like adjust. And while I'm there, I talk to myself. That's one other thing that I do. I motivate myself. I come back feeling better after that, you know. And I talk out loud. That's why I walk. When I walk in places where I know that there's no one around you, because they'll be like, ah, this one now he's lost it. So yeah, I yeah, yeah, that's that. Those are some of the things that I do. But ukhala na corner, it's very important,
yeah,
especially during the time immediately after the fall. Immediately after the fall, it's bad. You know, it's a mess. So
yeah,
it takes a while. You have to allow yourself to go through those stages as of dealer with that trauma. You know, I mean,
yeah, yeah,
if you yeah, losing stuff that you had worked so hard for, it's
yeah,
a traumatic experience. So you have to allow yourself to go through all of those stages, so that
yeah,
but and then you accept, and then you start to think of another way. As long as you're excited at the possibility of tomorrow, you know. So you must always keep that excitement, because remember, um, for somebody who built something that was not born or inherited, you know, you can do it again because you've done it before, you know.
mm,
So yeah, there's always that thing which also plays a role, but you don't see it immediately as you fall. You think it's all finished. You must first, yeah, spend a lot of time with yourself and get yourself talk to yourself, man. You know, so I talk to myself to be okay, you know.
that's powerful. I must try that, Lord.
I guess because maybe, you know, now that I think about it, it's like therapy, but without the therapist there. You know, there's no one listening. Yeah, you
Yes,
know.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. I think last year I came across a principle, something which I'm still to consistently apply. But when I came across it, I was like, this is a refreshing and I think a powerful method. So you know how we get taught to do a self affirmation statements, ne?
Yes.
Whether you look at yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself how great and good
Yeah.
looking and talented, all those nice things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
people by these are lofty questions.
Mhm.
Ask yourself lofty questions, right? Which apparently works on the subconscious. So the lofty question would be, um, why does, if you believe in God, why does God love me so much that He blessed me with such a wonderful wife? You
Yeah.
are asking yourself that question.
Mhm.
Teach your brain to want to answer the question. Do you understand? Because
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, why guys secret? So why I lost a business, now I'm building another one, it's working out. Um, why do I live in a place so where I can go for walks, have a scenic route, talk to myself? I'll send you some of them, but like I say, I've got some on the wall here.
Yeah.
One of them is why am I surrounded by joy and happiness at all times?
Mm.
So
Mm.
I saw a video actually where they break it down nicely, and I was like, oh, I think something worth looking into. So, but I think it's key. You've touched on a very key thing, that having a support system. In your case, it's family and people that you also invest in those relationships with, so
Yeah.
that when it comes the time for a withdrawal, our we overdraft.
Yeah. I like how you put it.
You know, so
Yeah.
because I don't know if you've experienced this. We I think we all, and naturally we probably do it. Not probably, definitely do it. It's just that we don't pay attention. When there's that person that when when the phone rings and you look at it and you see their name, you know that they want something.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
because they never do it to be like, no, I
Oh
was just
yes.
picking up on you,
Yeah.
Ukraine or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And I think that's what I'm trying to get to. When you invest in those relationships, then
Mhm.
whenever you need that support, then it's there for you.
Yeah.
Very inspiring, Dot. You are writing a book, or you've written a book.
Yes, yes, I did. I did. That was immediately after the collapse of my most successful business.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was like a way, like I told you that yeah, I speak to myself. So that through those talks, I found things that I felt needed to be jotted down. So I didn't start out writing a book. I started out
Mm,
just making these notes, man, because at times I would come back feeling like, hey, this was a powerful session. Like the
yeah.
things that I heard myself saying to myself were really
Yeah.
powerful. So I'd come back, put those, and then it started becoming long. It started becoming. I had like one of these notebooks, but these ones that are. Um,
During.
yeah. I filled it up. So
Yeah.
uma seyigcwele, that's when it became clear that I needed to move on to a laptop. Then it just
Oh, wow.
started to shape itself out into a
Yeah.
book, And
Yeah.
the title of the book is called The Soul of an Entrepreneur. It's both the soul and the soul le part.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you need to you will not find a hustler in a battle hlala fresh yabona, because uhlala busy, man.
Yeah.
So the angle of the book was basically sort of like a survival kit,
Mm,
as well as some strategies now that can help you not to make the same mistakes that I made, because in as
yeah.
much as you can always point at the next guy and say, hey, these ones did me this way, those ones, but you must remember you were there, you were there. Even worse, you were not there as an employee, you were the guy making all the decisions,
Yeah.
yeah, where you were moving envelopes, you were the one going to the bank, withdrawing the cash, putting it in an envelope and taking it somewhere, you understand? So you can't now, when everything has gone, has collapsed, and you don't see the active role that you played in that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
in the book, I share, basically it's for somebody uh, who's coming up,
Yeah.
and they can avoid making certain mistakes,
Yeah.
and when things happen and they fall, they can find a survival sort of like guide, that I
Mm,
found that it worked for me. So I felt it was very important, like that I like sharing. So I felt like
yeah.
if it can help somebody else, because I didn't have that, and so my situation pushed me to develop that. So I felt it was something important for me to share. but the book is not yet out because I'm busy writing the last chapter of it, like with my life now. Yeah.
Okay, that's
There are
cool.
certain things that I want to get in order first, so that when
Yeah,
it comes out, it doesn't. You don't look at it. This guy, he
yeah,
was just he was writing about a situation that he was just with one situation. So
yeah.
so yeah, I'm just trying to move my life way past that situation, which is the core subject of the book. So yeah, that's everything as far as the book is concerned. Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, can't wait once they ready again. Please do let us know. Um,
And I share too much, man. But yeah, it's fine.
Something that you passed on in Kumbuzem, this guy, I came across this, random guy on Insta. What do they call this thing? The Insta, the IGTV or something, ne?
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
And he said something about, you know, um, you can't change the world from a position of being a victim. So the context was, kunabantu that the way they see the world, things are happening to them. There's always a reason. My mom did this. My father abandoned me, and those things are valid. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
I think the problem gets where we get stuck, and that defines us. And now I'm operating in life from low position there. So something you said just because it sounds like you are looking at your role. When you're touching on the stuff that you've done, like Mina, what am I accountable for in this whole thing, the good and the bad? Like,
Of
yeah,
course. Of course. Yeah. You can't. I mean, you were there.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, live, who stream my life. So tell
Yeah.
me,
You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, tell us about where you are, Konamanje. I've seen some exciting stuff you post about. I think I would like for you to take us through that journey. It seems like it's I don't want to say culmination because I don't believe that this is where you're ending also, right? So it's more
Yeah. Of
like
course. Yeah.
collective experience, from all the businesses that you've been through, all that you've run,
Uh,
uh, to what you're currently building and working towards.
mhm. Um. All right. How do I just want a better way to get to it. But it's fine. Now, currently, I'm building an advertising agency type of a joint. I've worked a lot in the space, but doing the subcontract work, people come to us for ideas, copywriting. Sometimes we design some stuff, but I'm actually a very good art director. Like if it's something that I wanted to pursue, job wise, yeah, I could be in some big agency somewhere.
Mhm.
Um, so it's a space that I've somehow always been in. Even when we had that printing shop, the reason why our shop was so successful, by the way, is because we were not just merely on printing, we were on design. So you come to a place, you live there with amazing things, so nobody could compete because most printing shops, they just want to print. You come there, the design element is not really a priority. So for us as creatives, it was always a very important thing. We would handle your project as if we were handling a project from ABSA, because I'd already been exposed to those kind of works. Now, uh, there's a couple of things that I still want to do, like the restaurant industry. I want to build a couple of brands there, because I spent a lot of time doing research in that space, a lot of research. Even when I was in the States, I was not there for the restaurant thing, but I ended up it was around the time when I was still doing research, but I was there for something else, around the production, live streaming. But when I was there, I ended up spending a lot more time on the restaurant stuff because I saw things there, and I brought back some more information, more material for me to learn from.
Yeah.
So I see the advertising agency type of vibe as a way. It's not taking me away from my from that goal, which I'm very passionate about, because those brands will be built by the very same agency,
Mm,
but yeah, look, the
I see.
first time I became exposed to the industry was 2007, and I saw the big budgets. I saw all of those things, but at the time, you would hardly ever find black-owned agencies. It was way before, way before the DNAs of this world.
Yeah,
But now the game has changed. A bit more. I see a lot of guys doing those 12 million plus retainer contracts, and I said it. I don't think you saw my post. I also want some of those myself. Yeah,
yeah,
so that's where I am now. It's basically to build that. Yeah, but I'm busy. I'm not yet taking in clients, and I've got a lot of people because I just see some of the designs they're already coming on. I'm still building like a whole system. I want to bring something different. So, but yeah, a lot of brothers have already jumped on saying, "Man, we like your style." I'm like, not yet. So that's where I am now, because now, for instance, now I'm still looking to build it to a point where I can bring in some designers, and I'd have them doing the work, and
yeah.
then I just provide art direction, which is what I'm good at. I'm not really that sharp as a designer, but I'm not the worst of them all as well. Yeah, that's where I am at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So this
Mhm.
is what you're talking about right now, ne?
Yeah, this stuff. This is the stuff. This is the stuff that I'm talking about, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, this is the stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Clean, right?
Clean, clean, clean.
Superman, Superman.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can tell that it comes from an award-winning art director, man. It's not just.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so you're not taking up clients at this point.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm busy building a system. I want to bring something. I want to offer a system. Like, I don't know if I'm making sense. I don't want to rush into market and bring uh people. Like I told you, I've got the ability to build a system in my head and run it for a while. So I
Yeah.
started this idea late last year. The business basically started last month, registration and everything. So I'm still busy with the system. Probably I'll be ready around July to actually now start to take in clients properly.
So,
Yeah, because I want people to come into something that will add value
yeah.
from the get-go, and you see that we know what we are doing at every stage, at every level. And you cannot do that without a system. If people need to come into a streamlined thing. So I'm still busy building that system and the vibe and the style. So I still need
Yeah.
to get some people in as well, to come and help me build
Okay.
this vibe. So I've got two guys already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but two guys already. I need four. Other people, I'm hitting them on the inbox. They're like, this hot man. So, but
Yeah.
yeah. We are not yet ready. We are not there yet. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. No, I can't. I
Yeah.
can't. So we are looking forward to a book and
Yeah.
to the creative Kumkani.
Yeah.
Uh, are you at liberty of sharing other maybe exciting things that you are looking at that's in the pipeline, like a quite like a left quite a career maybe?
One thing that I usually do
Yeah.
is I like to focus. There are smaller things on the side. But
Yeah.
I like because you saw almost like I've rebranded myself everywhere now. It's like if you knew me then, it's like I'm a totally different person now.
Even
So I like, yeah,
the style, or cause we like
yeah, the whole thing.
shortcut in babies and conji fade or whatever.
Fade, bengshang line, yeah, bon bengshang line, but yeah,
Yeah.
now I feel different. So the look represents the way I feel now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the way I felt then when I used to keep that sort of a look,
Back then, yeah.
Yeah. So now I think I'd really just like to mostly just speak about this creative Kumkani project, and everything else will unfold as time comes, But for now, it's just the main thing,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That's mainly it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me that, and I think I was thinking, I don't know what just brought this to mind, but clearly, I mean, you're not afraid of, a challenge, starting something new and building and all that stuff, right? So earlier on, when we were talking about, so for instance, where you are now in terms of your look, né? By the way, when
Yeah.
did this transition?
Please come again.
Italian, when did the transition? Yeah, when did that start?
Geez, when did it start? Look, it's been for a while, because at some point, well, I've always known that it was there. At some point, I dealt with the issues of calling,
Oh, I see.
and yeah. I dealt with issues of calling. I'm not yet done, but you can say proudly that I'm a sangoma in the works, Yeah,
Oh,
but so around that time, I sort of like really just let go. I sort of like let go and I chilled a bit more.
yeah.
I'm usually known as okay, I'm a suit, I'm a ties and all of that. So I didn't feel that way anymore. I felt like that look was no longer representing the person that I was becoming. And then it just continued. But you could say from 20, oh yeah, even the lockdown contributed a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. Eh?
Yeah, it contributed a lot. 2020, that's when that whole process was happening. And
Yeah.
and then Cape Town happened. When I got there, I was like, oh, it's almost as if I'd already subconsciously known that I was coming here. Because when you get to Cape Town, we are like this.
I'm a free spirited.
Yeah, we're like this, So
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
that's basically how it came about,
Yeah.
And
What-
and my wife is still kind of like getting used to it. Yeah, there are times when she's like, you know, can't you at least, can't you at least tie in can't you at least, I'm like, no, but this is how I feel.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, and sorry to disturb you, man. And then
No,
it went to Uguti. We had a bit of an argument the other day. Can't you at least, But I'm like, for instance, where we're faga about weave and you do all of these things, and from the time we met, I don't like these things, but
yeah,
because we are partners and now I've accepted these things, yeah, but
yeah,
I don't say can't you take you with Ganana off? No, I just let you be you. So I mean, yeah,
yeah, sure, sure.
yeah. So I just shared that in passing.
It's very inspiring. I think I wanted to ask you, and
Yeah.
you've touched on it already. What informed your decision to move to Cape Town? Was there any strategic thinking behind it, or it was more like, I,
I'm a rock star.
moya waselwandle manje
Uh,
uyihipster.
rock star. I live in
Yeah,
the moment. No. Look, in 2015, we went down to Cape Town for my birthday,
yeah,
and we spent a week in Cape Town. And then since 2015, we have always been going to Cape Town to spend a week to 2 weeks, right throughout. So it was always a thing that we had discussed to say eventually at some point we would move to Cape Town. And we
mm,
planned it around 2018, planning it for 2019. 2019 came and they took all my money. So yeah, we had to delay that because we had big plans to go down there on some rockstar level. So we had to restructure the plan. So when COVID happened, And I mean, you like, I mean, there's so much change happening in the world. So you like moving to Cape Town during such a time. It would be great, so that when things move back to like normal, they move back with you. It becomes normal. Now you become normal in that space, But I said at some point I'll share some information about Cape Town. Cape Town is, and a lot of people complain, right? It's not an easy place to break into, right? But I say a lot of people that complain about that, it's because they then go to Cape Town and then live away from their own people. You get where I'm going? Look, if you go to Cape Town, ufike ufuna ukuyongena kwi-clicks, it's got a lot of those clicks, and those clicks are not necessarily formed on race only. There's class, association status, and all of those kind of things. Where you live, what you drive, who you know. So it's not just to gamla, colored, and yeah. So the people that struggle the most are people that go to Cape Town and then they live far from their people, especially if you going to hustle, more figure ebantwini.
What to freeze. Creative Kumkani. 1 2 1 2. Let me check this side. Okay, I think we'll drop. Huh? Are you back now?
All right. Oh yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there, but yeah. So yeah. Cape Town is not an easy place to break into, but like I said, So I'm going to be here and I'm going to do it and I'm going to share, and like I'm already telling those that might want to come down and just know you must firstly start with your own people. You understand? And then you get to immerse in the culture with your own people within a safe space, and then you start to be everywhere. Then I mean, if your cosign already, but remember those people have been there long. Once you become like if you'd see me there, you think I was there for like 10 years or so. Like some people, when I tell them that I've only been here for like a little over a year, they're like, no way, man, because now I know everybody and everybody knows, oh, that's that guy that likes,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That sounds really dope. Next time I come around and I'll hit you up. I'll make my stay long. I normally do like a day, 2 days, 3 days. Then I'm out. Yeah. Man. Got to freezile food. Same would be a CK.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Now you're back.
Yeah. I'm back.
Yeah. No, man. Thanks. I think that there's a lot of stuff that you have to share. I can't wait for the book to come out. Masai Pumi, are you planning to do an audio version for the book at some point?
I've not made plans that far out, but I think plans regarding the book, I'll start to make them around the time when I'm ready to finish it and package it. Then that's when I'll have a strategy, and the plan around how the book is going to come out, and where, and all of those kind of things. I don't have anything solid yet because I've not finished it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. Thanks for your time. I think I've made monopoly.
No, wait. I was waiting for that one question. I've been waiting for it, and it's not coming. before I leave. So I'm going to bring it up myself. That question always would say, okay, what would you say to somebody who wants to go into entrepreneurship? I want that question. I know it's a very basic question, but I want it myself. I deserve it.
I'll give you a number two. I'll say if there are three top things that you would advise to someone, Osekaya, right now, they're looking at you, they're listening to your story. I think, let me know if you can hear me. Not too so freezing food.
All right, I think we are back now.
Okay. Yeah, so.
Can you hear me?
But your picture is freezing. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So anyway, I won't limit you to a number. I'm just messing with you. But someone is watching you, listening to you, serial entrepreneur. Okay? What is your advice to them? They want to walk the same path. They are as ungovernable as you are, so they're not going to get a job, and bamamela umthetho and all that stuff. What word of advice, encouragement, maybe discouragement? I don't know. Do you have for them?
Discouragement. It's almost as if you knew. I would say, abangakaqali, don't do it. And those who are already in it, but in the early stages, they should hold on tight because of a rough, And I think I'll come from this angle because we always look at
Abracadabra. The network yes, Cape Town near Klupa today.
All right.
Are you back?
Yes. I don't know why it keeps on disconnecting us. I want to be part of those people who want to remove this notion, rosy notion that entrepreneurship is the easy way out. Like Bonile, minister, not so long ago was saying, "Hey, you guys must try entrepreneurship now." It's funny that the president first comes out and says government doesn't create jobs. Minister comes and says, "Hey, you guys must try entrepreneurship now." So just people should know that this is more difficult than just having a 9 to 5. Because you don't work at 9 to 5, you work all the time. Even on a Sunday, you work all the time because constantly your business is in your mind, and you're always dealing with something. So people should already whoever wants to go in, they must brace themselves that it's not going to be easy. So if you see Kumkani with the Benz and you think you want the Benz, you must know that there's a lot of work that goes that you have to do first before you could even think about getting to e-Benz, But I believe in magic, and I remember where you were saying it seems like I'm somebody who's not afraid starting from scratch. So you could say, Nami, I'm a startup now, so I'm taking some of that advice is to myself. But I believe in magic, which things don't always have to go through a struggle, tough times, and long struggle and many failures and stuff like that. Magic does happen, So those that really want to go into it, they should know though, which it's not easy, but it's like a calling, It's you stay in it because there's no other way. You are in it, and it's rewarding sometimes. At some point, you do get to that point where you are proud of the decision that you took. You realize that I wouldn't have it any other way. Like if I were to start over, I would, for me, the only thing I would change if I were to start over, I would, in my third business, I wouldn't push Ama Brown envelopes. That one was the main thing that one I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't do if I were to start over. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Besides that, everything else has just been a joyride.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a joyride with a lot of bruises.
Well, I suppose just becoming obsessed with the process. You mentioned Wuti. You start by creating systems, but besides that, there's the process to that you have learned. Hence, you've had multiple businesses, and you are still going to be having a lot more because ufunde how to ride a bicycle basically one time, and that skill now you're transferring it to the next experience, the know-how basically. Yeah, that's the way of putting it. Is what you carry on from this one business or opportunity to the next level and so forth.
Yeah.
It's really dope, dude. I think if there's a way, I don't. So yeah, when I saw Mzuzukile, there's a guy called Reginald Lewis. I don't know if you've heard of him. Passed away. I think many years, Boma 2099.
Okay.
How I came to know of this guy, there's a song Ghana's where he mentions a Reginald Lewis. Then he calls him like African American billionaire before Oprah was a billionaire.
Oh,
Or
I
what.
think I know the song. Yeah.
He drops the guy. Then that got me to do some research on the guy, only to find out that the guy was a lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah.
His background was law, but because he used to do deals as a lawyer for clients, so
Yeah.
you are buying a company, so I'm managing and acquisitions,
Yes.
uh, because they're quite complex. It's not just the contracts you sign, you transfer money. There's the due diligence process
Yes.
that leads to that last point
Yes.
where it gets signed. And through that, he learned how to do it. Like he, during a weekend at home, he would read about, financials, business magazines, and all, just to see which companies are what he would consider hot buys for himself,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
right?
Oh.
He set up a business called TLC, which was the Lewis company. Uh, he Azange build a business where he creates a product or invents something or whatever. First time from the get-go, because already he had the experience, how to raise funding, get investors on board, approach the business we target here again, all that. This two out company, 5 years VI flipper, on to the next one, the next
Yeah.
one. And I think when I read about the guy, you know what killed him was a tumor, brain tumor.
Oh.
And like, if there's a way of touching on the moon to like not the physical brain, but like
Yeah.
and find a way to preserve it. And I think this is one of those ways where we have these conversations.
Oh, yeah.
You are in a way documenting your story and your
Yeah.
experience and all that. This will live somewhere where hopefully someone picks it up, finds whatever works for them. Actually, another, what you call some other content that will also do the same and add the same value for them. Let me show you. This guy wrote a book. Let me just find it.
Okay. All right. Oh, yeah.
What was that book called here?
But I must be honest, Mhlekazi, I really enjoyed this, huh?
Yeah.
I was not sure what to expect, but I honestly enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, and for me, there's a reason why I call them conversations. In as much as I'll ask you a question, siyaxoxa,
Yeah.
I'm also learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put this up here,
Uh,
and then we can call it a night.
yeah.
My name is Young Buela, so I still need to get back to preparation for a show.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's about pizza again, like non-stop. Okay,
When is it? The run show?
from the 13th April to the 18th next week.
Nah, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
pop in.
Oh, that
Yeah,
would.
yeah, yeah. I'll pop in for a selfie, né?
No, that would be. Who's in the family? I'll
Okay,
I'll get you a com. So this is a kuluma offline, though. Ne? I'll arrange
okay,
for you.
cool. All right, cool.
Check this title. The title of this book. This is the guy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, all right, all right, all right, all right. It seems like it would be a great read, eh?
It is. It is. So
Yeah, no, I'll check it out.
why that title is because apparently when he was a little boy,
Mm-hmm.
uh, he used to go to golf clubs because his uncle worked there.
Okay.
Or umkhulu wakhe. So he got exposed to that lifestyle, and then while having a conversation with umkhulu wakhe, he asked this question to his grandfather: would the
Mm-hmm.
white guys have all the fun as a young
Yeah.
boy? So
Mm.
anyway, it was a great chat, and that we'll connect offline.
All right,
Um,
all right. Absolutely pleasure.
yeah,
All right. Thank you very much for the invite, and yeah, I had fun. It was a very good engagement. I think now I'll be more open to such because usually I don't.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
we'll, we'll do more then
All right, I'll see you next week then. Huh?
next week. All right, show me.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Evening sharp.
Sure.